Live and direct from the stage of the Recital Hall in the Music Building on the University of Montana campus. This is a special broadcast featuring the String Orchestra of the Rockies. I'm program host Tom Cook. The String Orchestra of the Rockies is an award-winning musical ensemble based in Missoula and drawing on professional musicians from across the state and the region. To begin with, I'm joined by the group's artistic director, Maria Larionov, to talk about the orchestra and tell us about the concert coming up tomorrow afternoon right here on this stage. So good afternoon and welcome to you, Maria.
Hi, Tom. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're happy to have all of you here on the stage. First of all, Maria, would you tell us about the orchestra, provide us with a little bit of history, and give us some context?
Well, it's a very elite and special group of musicians. There are 15 of us. We are all string players. We come from all corners of Montana, including Great Falls, Bozeman, Billings, and also primarily Missoula. We also have artists from the Northwest, Spokane and Seattle, where I live. Mm-hmm. And we come together 4 weekends a year, and we collaboratively make music without a conductor.
And this is how many seasons? Isn't this the 41st?
41st season.
Consecutive seasons.
41st consecutive season, and we're still going strong. I think there is something really dynamic and profound when you have 15 artists creating music together without a conductor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There are 2 concerts remaining, I know, in the 25-26 season, this 41st season. Can you tell us about the one tomorrow and also the one coming up in April?
Well, let's talk about tomorrow. I think it really showcases the immense versatility and the excellence of musicians in Missoula. We are featuring Dr. Jennifer Cavanaugh, our oboe soloist, in the incredibly beautiful Al Benoni oboe concerto, which I think everybody will recognize when she starts playing the slow movement. It's one of his most famous works. Jen is just an extraordinary musician and a wonderful and warm human being. She's a pleasure to work with. The orchestra just adores her. And wonderful. I think it will be a really exciting afternoon. The other 2 pieces, you will hear excerpts from them this afternoon. And one is the Beliczay Serenade, and the other one is the Janáček Suite. On Sunday, we will be joined by 13 of our next gen of Rising Stars students. Mm-hmm. They are 13 high school and university students, string students, who have been specially selected to join us. We work together with them in a mentorship role, and 3 of my colleagues will be speaking a little bit later in this broadcast to talk about our student outreach. It's an important and vital part of what we do. I think it's part of the reason why, after 41 years, we're so successful. Mm-hmm. A lot of our current musicians themselves, when they were young, came to SOR mm-hmm. and studied with SOR musicians and are now playing in SOR.
Wonderful.
So it's multi-generational. Mm-hmm. So that's tomorrow. In April, we have our special featured soloist is Stephanie Chase, violin virtuoso. She was the first American to win a top prize in the prestigious Tchaikovsky competition in Moscow. And she has had a really dynamic solo career since then. She's quite the virtuoso player. She was recently awarded an Avery Fisher Career Grant, and she is just about to release a book on Stradivari violins, which is really mm-hmm. exciting. Mm-hmm. She'll be playing several virtuoso pieces with us, and also doing an arrangement of Defia songs. Right. She's also a very gifted arranger.
Mm-hmm. And as I recall, Stephanie was with us a couple of seasons ago, isn't that right?
She was. Stephanie was originally booked for the year that got canceled to COVID.
Ah, that was
And
it.
she very
mm-hmm.
patiently I kept writing to her, Steph, We can't do it now. Can you wait a year? And she very patiently waited. We finally got her here. She did a dazzling Mendelssohn concerto with us.
Yes, people were really enthusiastic about that. And
Yes.
I know that many of our audience members will remember that performance and look forward to the one coming up on April 12th.
Yes, and I certainly am. And also in April, we will do our big next season reveal where we will share with our audience all our soloists and the programs that we have coming up. And we have a really exciting lineup for next year.
That's just great. We'll hear more about that. Tickets. People always want to know how they can get into a concert, and how does that happen?
Well, we sell our tickets through our website, which is sormt.org. You can buy your tickets there. There are no additional fees. And you can also come to the door and buy them from our ticket table if there are tickets still available. I think they're selling fast for this concert.
Okay, great. Well, enough talk for now. Why don't you tell us about the music that we're going to be hearing in just a moment?
Well, this first selection is by Gyula Beliczay, who is a Hungarian composer. I apologize in advance to any Hungarians who are listening to us. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly.
It's very
I spent
impressive,
some
though.
time on Google
Good job.
voice pronunciations, and none of them sounded authentic to me. So this is what I came up with.
Okay.
So my apologies to Hungarians. He was a very interesting composer. He was actually a railroad engineer, which I think is particularly fitting for Missoula.
Yes.
I always hear trains at night
Yes.
here in Missoula. He wrote this lovely serenade. It was written in 1880. And if you hear the name, you might think it's going to be very exotic and strange sounding. It's actually, it sounds like a classical work. It's very beautiful. It almost sounds, classical, like in a way that Beethoven or maybe a little Haydn or Mozart. I'll tell you, the slow movement is the centerpiece of this work. It sounds like Brahms. It's lush. It has beautiful soaring melodies, and I think it's really quite a masterpiece.
Wonderful. Well, great. We look forward to hearing that. We'll hear it in just a moment. I'd like to remind everyone who's tuned in that this is music performed by the String Orchestra of the Rockies, live from the stage of the Music Recital Hall here on Montana Public Radio. We've been listening to a live performance of music from the String Orchestra of the Rockies here on Montana Public Radio on this Saturday afternoon. We heard the four movements of the Serenade in D minor, Opus 36, written in 1880 by Julius von Beliczay. In a moment, I'll be joined by three members of the orchestra, all of whom teach in the School of Music at the University of Montana. Dr. Margaret Baldridge is professor of violin and viola at UM and serves as orchestra leader of the String Orchestra of the Rockies. Dr. Adam Collins teaches cello students in his studio at the University of Montana, and he is the String Orchestra's principal cellist. And Dr. Joel Schnackle, who instructs double bass students at the University of Montana. He's also the principal and only, we could say first chair or last chair, makes no difference. That's right. He is the only bassist in the solo bass in the String Orchestra of the Rockies. Welcome to the three of you. Thank you so much for spending a little time with us talking about the orchestra. Let's begin with Adam. Adam, would you talk to us a little bit about the next gen students that are going to be appearing along? I'm mixed up. Tell us about the orchestra's mission. That was it, wasn't it? In terms of music education, the SOR student scholarship, and those different aspects of the Gen X program.
Absolutely. So as Maria shared, education and outreach are core pillars of the String Orchestra of the Rockies, and it's part of our mission to ensure that there's a future for vibrant music for all of us. So the String Orchestra of the Rockies has several education-focused programs, including our next-gen side-by-side performance, as you'll hear tomorrow. But in addition to that, we have regular master classes with our world-class guest artists who come in and teach University of Montana and local string and piano players, whatever the instrument, may be in solo master classes, the weekends of concerts. And those are offered free of charge to the students, and it's an incredible opportunity for those students to work with guest artists such as Stephanie Chase, who's coming up in April. In addition to that, the String Orchestra Rockies also sponsors string scholarships to a University of Montana student every year. And as someone who went through college funded by scholarships, I know how impactful that support can be. So those are just a glimpse of the String Orchestra Rockies educational programs.
Okay. Margaret, tell us about the students that are coming this time. I know this is an annual event, has been for a few years anyway. And we've called it Rising Stars, we've called it Next Gen. It's been identified in different ways. But this year, how many students are coming?
We have 12 students coming for tomorrow, and they come from high schools around Missoula, and also one student from Bozeman, and also university students from our studios here at the University Music School.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they're chosen based on, their advanced playing, and some of them have played with us before, but we do have some new students this year. We try to also feature students from the private studios within the area, and many of the students this year are actually students of the string orchestra members that are playing this concert. So it's really fun for them to be able to sit with their teachers and play this new kind of music.
And I was just going to say that many of these students study with members of the String Orchestra of the Rockies, don't they?
Right, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And Maria alluded to the fact that we've grown our own orchestra, actually. So if you look through the orchestra right now, you see people who studied with all of us at some point in their college careers or their high school careers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Tell us, Joel, a little bit about the impact that you feel the students' side-by-side experience has on them as young players.
Sure. Well, first of all, I'd like to acknowledge that I am one of those people who studied with the bassist for String Orchestra of the Rockies, Don Beller. So really, really cool. It's vital and so beneficial for these students in two different ways. First of all, in their orchestra programs, they often work all semester long practicing their music. And in a professional setting, you have usually 4 rehearsals to get it concert ready. So you're talking a week. So you're talking 5 weeks versus 1 week. So it catapults them into a professional level of preparation. But the most important thing, which I think Maria alluded to a couple of times, is that we're a conductorless orchestra, which means that they have to hyper-focus on 2 different things. First, rhythmic integrity. They have to have the pulse going all the time. And second, they have to blend. They're working on their oral skills, and they're always having to listen across the orchestra. And I can't even begin to tell you how vitally important that is and how it just benefits them immensely.
Wonderful. Well, enough talk. Adam, why don't you go ahead and tell us about the next piece of music that the orchestra is going to be sharing with us this afternoon.
Absolutely. So we'll share with you some selections from the other piece on the program, the piece actually that we'll be playing side by side with those next-gen players. This will be 4 movements from Janáček's Suite for Strings.
Excellent. Well, I'll allow the 3 of you to resume your positions within the orchestra and remind everyone that you're listening to a special live performance of music by the String Orchestra of the Rockies, coming to you live from the stage of the University of Montana's Music Recital Hall. A live performance of music by the String Orchestra of the Rockies here on Montana Public Radio on this Saturday afternoon. We heard 4 movements from the Suite for String Orchestra, Opus 3 by Leoš Janáček. Before we leave our listeners this afternoon, let's just say again that many of you listening today will have an opportunity to enjoy a live performance of this wonderful music, classical music by the String Orchestra of the Rockies with guest soloist Jennifer Kavanaugh and Next Gen students. That's tomorrow afternoon, Sunday afternoon. The concert will begin at 4 p.m. in the University of Montana Music Recital Hall on the UM campus. You can avoid standing in line for tickets by going right now to the website at sormt.org and getting yours. Thanks so much to Maria Larionov, Margaret Baldridge, Adam Collins, Joel Schnackle, and all of the other wonderful members of the String Orchestra of the Rockies for sharing their music with us this afternoon and for telling us about the orchestra and some of its programs. A special thank you to Christopher Moyles and Jake Williams for producing today's program. Chris was also running the mixing board here in the Music Recital Hall, and to Howard Kingston, who is operating the board in master control this afternoon. Thanks to all of you. You've been listening to a live program from the stage of the University of Montana's Music Recital Hall featuring the String Orchestra of the Rockies. For Montana Public Radio, I'm Tom Cook. Thanks for listening.